You've probably heard the stories, or maybe you haven't. Ja Morant is facing probably the biggest decision of his life. Does he want to keep playing in the NBA or not? After dealing with a number of public incidents,
came up like this on me. He was like, should I hit him?
Flashing a blicky on social media and dealing with the law, Ja Morant is facing one of the biggest suspensions in NBA history. Will this upcoming season be a make or break for him? Will Ja Morant still have a future with the Memphis Grizzlies or in the NBA? Throughout this video, we're going to dive a little deeper into who Ja Morant is. Was he always like this, or did something change? How did he go from a kid with such a high reputation to almost losing everything? In 2019, Ja Morant was drafted second overall by the Memphis Grizzlies.
He made me who I am today, and I'm just thankful for it all.
He was set to live his dream, but within a span of 18 months, that all went south fast. What happened? Ja Morant, now mentioned in court documents and police reports, is not the same person who entered the NBA 4 years ago. Before being drafted by the Grizzlies, scouting reports on Morant saw no red flags. He was described as coachable, respectful, and humble. Coaches from his high school and college also praised his character and work ethic. He played like he had a chip on his shoulder. Though he didn't have many scholarship offers in high school, he worked hard. He didn't smoke or drink and created no issue. An NBA scout also said, "I studied him inside out. There was not one person who had a bad thing to say about him. Very much a late bloomer. Good family, had a work ethic, and humble. He checked every single box." He really seemed like a notable guy, and maybe he still is deep down inside. By February 2022, Morant made his first All-Star appearance and became just the second Grizzlies player ever to be named an NBA All-Star starter. 5 months later, Morant signed a 5-year, $194 million deal, the biggest contract in franchise history.
Do I want to be in Memphis? Hell yeah.
This guy really had it all and was set up for massive success. It was just after his third game where he really established himself in the NBA. He scored 17 of his 30 points in a comeback during the fourth quarter against Kyrie Irving and the Brooklyn Nets and take the win.
In transition. Oh, Ja Morant!
After the game, he mentioned, "The chip I have on my shoulder from what I had to go through to get to the NBA. My dad always told me that I was trained to go, basically that I'm built for the moment. And my mom always told me I'm beneath no one." But as time went on, there were concerns about his behavior, including frequent drinking and visits to strip clubs. I guess it's safe to say that fame can really get to someone. But at the end of the day, Ja is a human like everyone else. Some sources within the Grizzlies organizations felt that there was a lack of discipline and enabling of his behavior. This is different from the Ja Morant we knew prior to the league. So what changed? Has the chip on Morant's shoulder backfired and got the best of him? In 6 months, Morant had 4 public incidents. In July 2022, an altercation took place at a Memphis mall where a sneaker store salesperson and Morant's mom got into a heated argument. Later on, Morant and his friends showed up to threaten the employee. Less than a week later, Ja hosted a pickup ball game at his house. A 17-year-old boy from a local high school came to this, and apparently the two of them got into a heated argument from a hard pass from the boy hit Ja in the face. Teenagers said that Ja punched him in the face and knocked him to the ground and continued to hit him until somebody stepped in. According to reports, Morant didn't deny hitting the kid, but then told the police he was acting in self-defense. Now, that would make sense if the kid actually attacked him, but apparently to Morant, the ball hitting him in the face was the first hit. In September 2022, Morant's sister got into a heated argument at a high school volleyball game, and Morant's friends showed up and again made threats toward a student. In January 2023, after a game that took place on January 29th against the Indiana Pacers, some friends of Morant had aggressively confronted members of the Pacers traveling party. They mentioned someone in a slow-moving SUV had a red laser pointing at them, and Morant was in that vehicle. That said, it wasn't clear whether the laser was attached to a blicky, but honestly, who does that? What else would you expect people to think? Ja came out with a tweet later on that said, "Did an investigation seem they were capping? Still let an article come out to paint this negative image on me and my family and ban my brother from home games for a year. Unbelievable." You know the saying, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Maybe that's where we're at. The Grizzlies made multiple efforts to work with Morant. As everyone is aware, Ja and the Grizzlies have had several meetings throughout this year. Morant's agent, Jim Tanner, wrote in a statement to ESPN, "In each of these meetings, the Grizzlies have been clear with their expectations while being supportive of Ja's efforts to work on himself on and off the court." Morant's response, multiple team sources said, deepened fear across the organization that the Grizzlies' Ja Morant problem would not only continue, but worsen. As these conversations weren't getting through him, it was heartbreaking to watch someone with so much talent and life to offer throw it all away. There had to be something else going on deep inside of Ja that he wasn't telling anyone. He's the biggest star we've had since Elvis, said Jeff Calkins, a longtime Memphis columnist. But the story continues. 2 months later, after defeating the Rockets in Houston, the Grizzlies flew to Denver that night for their next game. As for Morant, he went to a nightclub instead. After losing to the Nuggets, Morant returned to the club again and then streamed himself on Instagram Live at 3:19 in the morning while holding a blicky. 4 hours later, by 7 a.m., the backlash was severe, and Morant was on the phone with his agent trying to save his career. Morant quickly deactivated his social media accounts, issued a statement accepting blame for his actions, and apologized to his team, community, and fans. Instead of flying to Los Angeles with the team, he flew to Florida, where he spent 11 days at a private counseling facility. Now, you would think this was the end of it, but 2 months after the Instagram Live incident, Morant was on social media again with a friend who was driving. They were listening to music and went live on Instagram. They were showing everyone that they were having a good time. That is until the camera went right on Morant, who was holding a blicky again. This was the last straw. Stephen A. Smith mentioned that
he is not a child. He is a young man, and he has to be held accountable for the decisions that he made.
In June, the league announced that Morant would be suspended for the first 25 games of the 2023-2024 season. This means he will be losing around $7.7 million. As for future earnings, this has cost him $39 million. It was time for basketball to take a back seat for Morant. If he was going to ever play in the NBA again, he needed to go through a program with the league to address his behavior and decisions. The same day this news was given to Morant, he came out with another statement to the league, the Grizzlies, his team, and the city of Memphis, apologizing for everything he's done. To the kids who look up to me, I'm sorry for failing you as a role model. The statement said, "I promise I'm going to get better. To all of my sponsors, I'm going to be a better representation of our brands. And to all of my fans, I'm going to make it up to you. I promise." Molly Quorum from First Take mentioned, "He's a generational talent and has the opportunity to be the face of the league. Morant has some serious changes to make if he's going to continue his career in the NBA as a superstar. Everybody loves a comeback story, but as of right now, that story is still in progress. Morant's career is at a place where it's more than just words. They need to seek proof through actions. Nobody is against Ja Morant. They're against his actions and want the best for him." In September, a video came out from a close friend of Morant that showed him working out in a white t-shirt that said "Gratitude." This looks like the turning point for Ja to get back on track of his career. If you want to see this video, we'll attach it in the description down below. Let's hope that Ja really turns his career around. Though he'll have to face accountability for his actions, he's got a second chance to make it work. But unfortunately, not everyone gets a second chance, and that might be a reality for these trash talkers when they get called out to a 1v1. Check out this video to see what happens.